Good morning. Today is Thursday, October 12th, 2023. First, a bit of housekeeping. We will be on hiatus from October 16 through October 22. In the morning, we'll resume Monday morning, October 23rd. We will miss Thursday night, October 19th, but resume Thursday night, October 26th. Today, October 12th, we will be meeting with God's help tonight, mining the riches of the Parsha at 7 p.m. Of course, we could speak about Israel all day, every day. And we do pray for Israel every day and support Israel in many, many ways, as we have discussed. But to paraphrase Daniel Gordis, we will continue to fight with courage and to cry, but we will also continue to live. And for us, right now, that means to study Torah together. I have a suggestion to enhance your peace of mind. We certainly all need this. And I want to clarify that I am speaking to myself as I'm speaking to you. And the suggestion, which I heard from Rabbi Yisroel Reisman, is based on a survey, a wider view of the entire book of Bereshit, Sefer Bereshit, the book of Genesis, the first book of the Torah, which we begin this week. So imagine this scenario. Imagine you invited another couple for dinner, a festive, special occasion, and every detail had to be perfect for this dinner. You prepare everything, it's beautiful, it's lovely, and on the day of the dinner you learn that your friends were evicted from their home. It's terrible news. And you feel bad for them. You also feel bad for your dinner party, all the work that you put into this dinner party, because it's not going to be too festive an occasion. And then you hear that this couple has two sons, and one son murdered the other. Oh my goodness, a tragedy, a nightmare. Certainly the least among the problems is not going to be a very happy party at dinner that night. And yet, that is exactly what happened to God. Our rabbis tell us that God created Adam and Eve last, after everything else had already been created, on the sixth day of creation, so that the entire world would be ready for Adam and Eve for their first Shabbos on earth. Everything God created was for their enjoyment, to prepare for this first Shabbos. The Talmud further tells us that on that day, the sixth day of creation, before the first Shabbos, Adam and Eve were commanded by God not to eat from the fruit of the tree, disobeyed the first and only commandment that they had been given, and they were sent out of Gan Eden. They were evicted from their home. And on that day, our rabbis tell us, Cain killed Hevel. The murder of Cain against his brother took place on that day, all in one day, the first day. Imagine the disappointment. Imagine the letdown. How do you think God felt going into that first Shabbos? He created this entire world so that it would be pleasurable for Adam and Chava. And look what happens. So given that, how in the world do we understand the following pasuk. Vayar Elokim es kol asher asa, and God saw all that God had created. V'hine tov ma'od, and behold, it was exceedingly good. Vayhi erev vayivoker yom hashishi. It was evening, it was day, the sixth day. Meaning, at the end of the sixth day, just before the first Shabbos is going to happen, with all of these terrible things that just happened, how can God say that he looked at everything he had created and it was tov ma'od, very good, exceedingly good? How could God say that? In fact, if we step back and widen our scope, the entire Torah is punctuated with God's disappointment. God creates man, Adam and Eve. They disobey the first commandment. The world becomes evil. God destroys the entire world with a flood. God gives the Torah to the Jewish people. 40 days later, they build a golden calf. God helps them build the Beis HaMikdash, the Holy Temple. There's Churban, destruction. Over and over. How does God deal with disappointment? The Torah teaches us this lesson at the very beginning of the Torah because it is so essential for us to navigate life. I've shared with some of you before the quote of the great boxer Mike Tyson. He was about to fight Evander Holyfield, and a reporter asked him, "What's your fight plan against Holyfield?" And Mike Tyson famously responded, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." The initial plan never lasts. And that's the way it's supposed to be. V'hine tov ma'od. God says this is exceedingly good. It's very, very, very good. It wasn't the initial plan. It's not how God intended it. But this too, the way it is now, will be very good in its own way. We imagine all the time how we think things are supposed to be. We imagine what our marriage will be like. We imagine what our children will be like as they grow. We imagine what our Shabbos table will be like. We imagine what our financial circumstance will be like. And now, it's true, we can imagine and we can take steps to try to make it happen, just as we imagine it. But sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. And we are very upset. And we are very disappointed. It would be helpful if we could train ourselves, habituate ourselves to say what God says. V'hine tov ma'od. This is exceedingly good. It's not what I imagined. But it will be good in its own way, maybe in a way that I do not yet see. When I was a child, my father was a home builder. He was also a lawyer, and later he was a mortgage banker. But as a child, I spent a lot of time visiting home construction sites, and I loved playing and climbing and seeing a house being built. One of my favorite things was watching the cement truck. It's a fascinating vehicle. The barrel turns and turns, and then the cement comes out of the channels. Now, every trip, a little cement sticks to the inside of the rotating barrel. Over time, it hardens and thickens and must be removed. There is a worker whose title is cement truck blaster. His job is to carefully insert explosives inside the barrel to loosen the cement that's stuck on the inside so that it can be removed and cleaned out. Now, this is a very delicate job because if you don't use enough explosive, cement will stay and it'll clog up the machine. If you use too much explosive, the barrel will explode. So it's got to be just right. We're like that. We go through life, and periodically we need a careful, precise, limited blast to adjust our frame of mind, to clarify our thinking, to come to recognize that the plan has changed and that this plan, as disappointed as I originally might have been, this plan is also very, very good. That is how we regain peace of mind with the new plan, because there will always be a new plan. As we begin this week to study the Torah from the beginning, from Bereshis, we should pay attention to all that does not go as planned. And as those kinds of things happen in our lives, we should become accustomed to imitating God's response. V'hine tov ma'od. Instead of my original plan, now this will be very good. My friends, I wish you a good day, and I look forward to seeing you soon in person.